My name is Brian Pillman Jr., and you're watching Dre 41 Gaming. Now, I'm a little partial to this gaming channel because 41 is my magic number. It was my number in football, and it was my father's football number. So you can bet that Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be tuning in to Dre 41 Gaming only on YouTube.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Drake41, aka Mr. 4K, aka Drake41, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Podcast. On today's show, I'm with my co-host Ken Washington. What's going on, man?
Baltimore's finest, right here. Don't you forget it. Yeah, I said it. I might not be in this podcast long, ladies and gentlemen.
Edit out. You never heard it.
Wow, disrespectful.
We was talking a little bit before we started recording. Ken actually went to AEW Dynamite, and he was there for several hours. It was almost like a Woodstock sort of thing. People were passing out.
Yo, before they even, we got there at 5 thinking, okay, we'll be able to get, decency, because one of the guys I was with was in a wheelchair. So we get there at 5, man, they already lined up on both doors. The ambulance actually did have to come through and scoop somebody up because they had just took a nap right there on the concrete.
Damn. Was it hot outside?
Man, yes. With the heat index, it was like 101. And you got all these cars pulling in. But we got lucky because John had his wheelchair, so they was like, you got to let him in. So we got to go in and not have to bear the heat for too long.
Damn. That is wild.
Yeah, if he hadn't been there, man, I'd have waited till the show started. Because they didn't even have a lot, I love AEW, but they didn't have a lot of merch stuff. Like they had this hat that I got on. They had the regular AEW hat. They had a shirt for Fight for the Fallen, and then they had just a regular AEW shirt and a couple pins. Like they didn't have a merch. They had a couple action figures too, but they were ones I already have, so it wouldn't make no sense to buy them again. Yeah, and there were 2 merch stands. Yeah, it was weird. I thought they would have had more going on, especially considering how long the lines were to get to them.
That's crazy, because I would have thought they would have had a bunch of merch, especially, you know what I'm saying? That's weird.
I thought they would have too, but they did not. So I guess Pro Wrestling Tees got to get some more of my business.
Honestly, I think they got the shop AEW.com, but I think a lot of their stuff is still on Pro Wrestling Tees, which I don't even understand why they do that. Like they got their own store, but yet they sell stuff on. I mean, they get money, either way. So
right,
but they should sell some of their stuff at the shows. That can actually bring in.
They should sell more stuff at the shows.
Yeah, that's weird. Because when I went, it's been years since I went to a WWE show. Damn, the last one I went to had Goldberg, and I guess he beat up, I want to say Miro. This was
Rusev, sir. No,
Rusev. Come on now, people should know. If they don't know, then something wrong with them. I ain't got nothing else to say. But no, it was a minute, and they have merch everywhere.
Yeah, they had all. Well, the last show I went to was. Oh my God! Back when the Fiend was, it was the SmackDown where Roman Reigns and the Usos threw dog food on Baron Corbin.
Damn!
I was at that episode, and yes, it did stink. Michael Cole was not lying when they said that stuff stank. You could smell it up there where we were. It smelled terrible, but they had all kinds of merchandise there. So.
Yeah, WWE, they'll sit there and try to get all that off. They ain't.
So it's the entertainment versus the wrestling thing that we argue about. WWE had that entertainment, but the wrestling, wrestling was good, even though that Nick Gage match was that was something else.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm happy that Nick Gage is getting his flowers and really getting opportunities. But here's the thing, they're everybody that's coming in from GCW getting beat. RSP got beat by that high-flying kid. I'm like, what? First off, they didn't even acknowledge that he was a former world champion. They didn't even acknowledge that.
Well, I couldn't hear the commentary, so.
Yeah, like they didn't even not acknowledge it, and it was just like, what? No, not with Nick Gage.
So here's something. So somebody in one of the group chats that I'm in said that maybe they edited it out, but I know that when Nick Gage came out, they popped harder for him than they did for Jericho. Like it was, I thought the roof was going to come out of place. It was insane, the noise.
Yeah, I think they did then. They might have because they did, you couldn't hear it. Like you couldn't hear people really. Yeah, you couldn't hear people going crazy like that.
Yo, we was going bananas when he came out there. Every time he picked up a weapon, they were shaking the little rails down front, like they were losing their shit over that.
Wow. For real. But see that, you know what? That's just like, and they don't want to make anybody look bigger than Jericho because the storyline right now is, you know, Jericho getting through everybody to face MJF, which the crazy thing to me is like they wasted number 2 spot on Nick Gage. He should have been like number 4 or 5.
Yeah, he should. I think he could have been the last level. That death match was worthy of the last level.
Yeah, it's like, why do the death match? I mean, I get it because why do the death match for his last one and then have to face MJF? But it would tell such a better storyline. Like he just got beat down the week prior.
Yeah.
You know, to Nick Gage, and now he got to go up against MJF. Oh, hold on, here they go. Guys, I want to introduce our guest. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm just making sure that we can see both of you at the same time.
Okay, cool. I wanted to introduce our guests. We got the guys who started the mocap for the Wrestling Code. We got my guy right here, Tony Chini, on the okay, there we go. On the left, and on my right, your right, Zack Ruby. So what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Yeah,
doing
pretty good.
Just living out the dream, and you know, just living life, man.
All right. So I wanted to, get a little bit of background for the people seeing this and, also listening to this as well with you guys' background. So, Tony, let's start with you. When did you get into professional wrestling? When did you become a fan of it?
Yeah, so I was just kind of flipping through the channels in 2004 as a 7-year-old kid, and I ended up finding these these clips of Shawn Michaels and Triple H like in their feud, and it was just blood and punching and just there's a fight and so much emotion, and I was hooked right there and then I started watching right in January of 2004, so it was the very beginning. And then I went and I saw, well, I didn't went, but I saw No Way Out at a friend's house, which was the second pay-per-view of the year for them. That was the February pay-per-view, I think. Anyway, that was just amazing. That was the pay-per-view that Eddie Guerrero won the title, the WWE Championship.
Wow.
And that moment, like, I mean, it was incredible. It was like one of those first moments that like made me feel like every week I need to know what's going on. And like I followed Eddie's career very heavily, and I watched WrestleMania 20, and the thing that really made me feel like I wanted to be a wrestler was actually the main event of WrestleMania 20. It was the specific moment that I could really remember that captivated me the most was when Shawn Michaels went to the top rope and he did the moonsault to the outside. And like that was the first time that I'd ever seen anything like that, and it just amazed me. I mean, it really just amazed me, and I was like, I need to be that person.
I hear that. Wow, that's wow. You just made me feel really old, so I'm just gonna put that
Me
out.
too, Jesus.
Man, because 2005?
2004, I had graduated.
2005, I graduated high school. So yeah, woo. Well, thank you guys for showing up. But Zach, what about you? How did you get into wrestling? When what you first seen, and how you go about it?
So growing up, I wasn't really into wrestling, but when I was so I used to be in the Army, and when I was in the Army, I was home for a weekend, and this man right here invited me to Grimm's, Grimm, and I started there. I started reffing there, and then from there, I started training a little bit, started learning a little bit more. And then from there, I just started liking it, started showing up more. And then once I got out of the Army, that's when I started showing up a lot more and a lot more.
I had a ring in my backyard for a long time too, and and I wanted to train, and he was always over, but he didn't really know anything yet. And I didn't have I had people over that were wrestlers also, but not as many people. Like, not everybody wants to do it all the time, and But anyway, he wanted to learn, so I was kind of in luck because I was able to kind of teach him things, and at the same time get better, because I was like, hey, let me show you something, and I basically show him something so I can work on something myself as well. But that in return made him better. So he went through, he filtered through a couple different characters and ideas, but we ended up coming up with the gem, and that's his thing right now, and he's doing good with it.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, going into the future a little bit, eventually, you guys went from being fans to really wanting to get into the business of professional wrestling. So, how was that journey? And for both of you guys, who trained you? Even though we spoke about it, but
Well, we just it's kind of helped him out with his beginning, but also I've been helped by Grim and somebody there named Tony Emerald, who has a lot of experience in the business, like 20 years in the business. He helps train us a lot. He hasn't been around as often because he had a surgery a few months ago, but he's doing good. He just hasn't been around as often, but he helped train us a lot, and I want to give him a lot of credit.
Definitely.
But when I first started, it was actually ECW's 911. I actually met him at a bar doing karaoke, and just kind of saw him and was like, I feel like I know this guy. Like, I don't know who he is though. He comes up to me after he's done doing his song, and he goes, "Hey, I know that guy." And he points to my shirt, and I was wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt. And I was like, "Oh my God, who is this?" And then when somebody said that was 911, I instantly went over to him, started talking to him. And I asked him, I was like, "Are you going to be here next week? I have something for you to sign. I have like this DVD. It's signed by all these people from ECW, and I wanted him to sign it." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be here next week." So I came a week later. He was there. He signed it for me. We talked again, and I thought I'd never see him again. But then I started working at a bar nearby because I was a local, like, to him. I lived close to him, and I didn't even know it. But I started working at this bar that also did karaoke, and I'm a big fan of karaoke as well. And he was there doing karaoke every Thursday, so I actually ended up seeing him every week. And then he eventually called me over, and he said, "Hey man, I'm opening up a school, and I know that you love wrestling, and I really want to help you train." And I told him that I wasn't making a lot of money, and I wasn't able to pay for school, but I would do anything in return. And sweep the ring, sweep the floors, set up the ring. I made pamphlets, I made videos, all that kind of stuff. Like, just like whatever I could do to just stay there and train. And his son, who goes by Big Vin, he just debuted on GCW. He was actually like the head trainer, him and his old tag team partner, who goes by Lucky Leo. And I went there every week, and I was a waiter at the same time. And I remember blowing out my shoulder on up and overs, and still having to go to work and holding up trays. And it was rough. It was a rough time, but I did everything I could to possibly be there. And it was a hard time. But when school closed, it was because not enough students came, unfortunately. And it was kind of a short-lived school, but I was there for the whole year. And I was kind of like one of the only people that stuck with it and stayed there. And I'm one of the only people that could really say that I trained under 911. So that's really cool. And then since then, I've been to a whole bunch of seminars, and I've done seminars with like Eugene, Stan Hansen, JJ Dillon, Barry Windham. All these people who I've had the opportunity to talk to in the car, even like Sabu or Road Warrior Animal, rest in peace. Tommy Dreamer, I've gotten to talk to a lot of people. And I also got to do some training at the Wrestle Factory before COVID started. The Wrestle Factory is Shikara. And I trained there for about 3 months. And then I was going to go into the next class, and then COVID started. So that ended up, getting ixnayed. But since then, honestly, with Virtual Basement, which we're going to be talking about eventually, that's really helped both of us. Even honestly, just being able to get in the ring together again like we used to, and kind of getting to go through those movements again, and show that's how we started out. We have that chemistry, and that can show in the game now.
Yeah, definitely. And what about you, Zach? I mean, like, how did, after the initial being introduced into wrestling and just being in backyard wrestling, how did you further your training?
Further my training, I would watch videos online, also some seminars as well. Local companies, train with them. Read books about wrestling. I have a book about wrestling.
We're fortunate that there's a lot of local companies around here that will give you the opportunity to go there and hang out and kind of get ring time with the veterans there, like at UWC, the United Wrestling Coalition here in New Jersey. We have a lot of veterans like around here, like Biggie Biggs goes there, and Slayer, and Warhead. A lot of people who may not be known worldwide, but we know them around here, and they're well respected, and the best thing that they do is give back to us, and they help us out a lot.
Oh, okay. So here's a question, right? Because I was watching a couple of you guys' matches, and a question that I have is, Tony, are you a babyface? And Zach, are you a heel? Because you guys team up with each other sometimes, and it seems like you guys get different reactions in singles matches as when you are together. So what's the dynamic of the group or the tag team as opposed to your single run?
So let me explain, because I actually there's technically only one, maybe two places that I'm still a babyface. Okay. I'm pretty much a heel everywhere else that I go. But okay. there's one or two places that just haven't pulled the plug on that. They want to keep me that way. So when we're there, we don't team up. And I also have another team. It's called the Royal Familia. And so we kind of do that. I mean, we also do heel stuff, but for the most part, that's my babyface group. Okay. So like, that's me, the Prince of Parmesan, Joey Angelo, the King of Sauce style, Frankie Marinara, and of course, Francesca. So, it's a little bit different dynamic. I'm still El Capo Grande. I'm still like the leader of the group, but we're not more of a mob. We're the Royal Familia. We're the family style, like PG, like the whole family can get into us and cheer for us type of deal. And he has kind of primarily stayed a heel. So that's just how they've kept him. So that one or two companies, that's just how it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah,
because I was confused because I was looking up matches and I saw you two had just wrestled. I think it was in May. It was on Zack's YouTube channel. It was like the only match that was there. And so then I asked Dre. I was like, and he said that y'all were a team, and I was very confused. Very awful confused.
Yeah, that's why we went with the handshake at the end, just to show, even though he's the heel and I'm the baby face, we still have that respect for each other. But gotcha. Like we also didn't want to take away from what the promoter wanted for that specific event. You know what I mean?
So going further into like just wrestling and going around to different organizations, and don't you have to go too crazy into it, but what were like the craziest moments that have happened, even behind the scenes, or trying to set up a match, or a promoter, or just a funny venue to be into, anything like that?
Well, I definitely have something in mind right away. My first ever match in front of a live crowd. So I had a couple matches at that point. Like, obviously I'd already trained with 911 at his school. And then I was doing a couple matches at Grimm's, so I had some match experience. Now I was able to have my first match in front of a crowd. So it was against the promoter, whose name I will not be putting over on any podcast. Anyway, so he decided he wanted to drink some brandy in the back and hang out, and didn't want to talk about the match with me, really. We talked about a few things. But I'm brand new. I'm terrified. And now this dude's just chugging down brandy and asking me if I want a swig. I'm like, I'm good, dude. Like, I'm terrified. So then we're like about to go out the curtain. And he is like, he has like this manager who's like it's like the joke is like this dude's wearing like a singlet, but he's not in shape. I have nothing against this guy who I'm talking about right now, but like he's like his gimmick is like he's supposed to be like Lex Luger, like, you know, like but he's not at all. So they're putting baby oil on him, and the whole thing of baby oil just spills in the back. So now there's baby oil all over the floor, all over this guy. It's dripping off this guy. And now my shoes are soaked in baby oil, and we're both slippery. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm already nervous. Now I'm about to fall like in the middle of this match, and now they weren't even letting me use my real name, by the way. I was Craig Fallon. I was the hometown boy of Avenel, New Jersey, which I've never been to except for that day. Wow. And then yeah, so the promoter goes out, he cuts about a 10-minute promo. And then I finally get to come out. I came out to like Eye of the Tiger or something like that. So I'm the hometown boy. I come out. I'm freaking out. He cuts like another like 3-4 minute promo. Then finally we start having the match. Things are going okay. Then he throws me outside, and he takes this old man's cane and he goes to the ref and he says, "This is a hardcore match now, brother." And he hits me in the back with this cane, and I'm like, well, I guess this is a hardcore match now. So I'm like getting like, you know, I got like scoop slammed on the floor, and this is my first match in front of a crowd. And so he comes back, and I chopped him because somebody in the back told me to chop him. So I guess that was a mistake, because I guess he doesn't like that. So he picked me up on his shoulder to go and ram me into the post. And now this is where the baby oil comes back. So he picks me up to ram me into the post. All of a sudden you hear squeak, squeak, and he falls with me on his shoulder. Yeah. So then he tells me, all right, hit me. So I'm hitting him, and I pick him up to finally get control of this match, finally, because I haven't done anything really. And he just stops me, hits me, picks me up, and rams me to the post, and then proceeds to chop me like 15 times. And then I technically made him tap out. But the referee did not see it.
Wow.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Jesus.
That is a crazy first match. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
wow.
Man. But you know what? But let me tell you one thing about it was that when I took that first bump, it was a clothesline. It was just, you know, it was like the classic handshake, pull in clothesline. It was exhilarating. It was like I took the bump over and I saw the crowd, you know, a little bit. And it wasn't a huge crowd. It wasn't millions of people. It was maybe, you know, like 60, 75 people, something like that. It was a small crowd. But it was still so exhilarating to just be in that setting for the first time, to have people reacting for you. I almost forgot where I was for a second. You know what I mean? And the only time that ever happened again was when I wrestled Tony Atlas, and like in that moment I was just lost. Like, I mean, it was just so surreal to me that like I thought they changed where the entranceway was. Like I didn't even. It was crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
That is wild, man.
Jesus.
That is wild. Now, Zach, you got to top that.
Give it your best shot, man.
I cannot top that, but trying to think crazy about a promoter or anything behind the scenes.
Oh
Can
man,
you think of anything?
I don't know. I mean,
I kind of try to stay out of all.
Well, I mean, this guy got to, like, I debuted at this event, which was, you know, the crappy whatever wrestling. You know, I'm not going to put it over, but this guy gets to debut his first show ever in front of a live crowd at CZW.
Wow.
Now, how was that experience?
That was definitely a very good experience. You know, I'm thankful for that. You know, we showed up there, helped out with the ring, set up. Then we just hung out for a little bit. And then it was like a shock, honestly, because I wasn't really supposed to honestly be on the show. And then they're like, "Oh, you want to be in this battle royal?" I'm like, "Sure." I had my gear with me. You know, I was Zack Valor at the time, which was a Army veteran character. So I did that for a little bit, and I debuted as Zack for CZW in a battle royal, along with how many other people were in there? Like
it was like a big battle royal.
It was waves. It was like
that.
waves of people.
Yeah, there was like it came in like waves of 5 people. There was like 45 people or something like that. It was pretty big.
It was a big battle royal.
It was a memorial for a fan that used to go there. His name was Miles C. Williams. He used to take pictures and he was like just a very well known fan. He was very nice to everybody and like one of those fans is just like very well respected in the community. You know, like the fans become family sometimes and he was just one of those people that was always there, always very supportive. And it was an honor to be a part of it, honestly. It was very, very cool because it was one of those things where there was a bunch of different companies represented from all over the place. So there was H2O was represented and then CZW and who else? I don't even remember at the moment. But I mean, there was I think 4 or 5 different companies that was represented. That's why there were so many people. We were there through Gimmick Tree Entertainment, which is like they do modern vintage wrestling, and then they also do like shows. They travel out to Illinois, and we're going to be going out to Texas with them in a few months.
Oh, okay. All right. So
that was when was that? July 2019.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A little while back. Okay.
Yeah, it was a while back.
So he's about 2 years now.
Okay. And now this is a question that I always ask all the guests on the podcast. Do you consider it professional wrestling or sports entertainment? And is there a difference?
Well, this is the thing. It just kind of depends on your style. I mean, like that's the beauty of it is that depending on how you want to structure the match, if you consider yourself a professional wrestler and you're going against somebody who considers themselves a sports entertainer, it's the best thing to do is to collaborate and put those things together to make it the best match possible, to make it those mix of things so both of those fans want to watch it. So you kind of have, I mean, it's both. It really is both. Professional wrestling is a form of sports entertainment. And something that I say, for instance, about like WWE and AEW, like somebody messaged me the other day and was like, oh, you know, AEW is signing Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Do you think WWE is in trouble? And I said, you know, honestly, it's hard to say because, like there's going to be a lot of those fans that are like, yeah, I want to see CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. They're going to watch AEW. But WWE is constantly building new fans. New children are watching, kids who don't even know who Daniel Bryan is, kids who don't even know who CM Punk are. You know, they're going to keep watching. They're going to keep adding fans in there, and they're going to keep building product for people to watch. So, you know, AEW can do the nostalgia thing, and they can capture all the fans from, you know, like from the past. But WWE's constantly building a new fan base, and on top of that, what they call sports entertainment. That's because they're more of They're like a television show about wrestling, WWE, when AEW is a wrestling show on television. So that's the difference. Now you're going to get a different side of CM Punk, but he's going to use, because CM Punk's been in the WWE for all those years, he's probably going to use that sports entertainment that he, you know, picked up from there into his professional wrestling now. So like I said, you kind of have to mold it so everybody wants to see you, everybody can accommodate to you.
Okay. Now, is there a type of style of, and this is a question for you, Zach, is there a specific or any type of style of professional wrestling that you don't consider it wrestling? Like, let's say, for instance, hardcore wrestling, or let's say like deathmatch wrestling. Do you consider that wrestling, or does that all fall under the umbrella?
I mean, I do consider deathmatch wrestling and hardcore wrestling. For sure. You know, those guys definitely, you know, they bleed a lot. They put their bodies through a lot of stuff, and a lot of them don't recover from stuff. But
I mean, talk about accommodating. Chris Jericho just faced Nick Gage
exactly
on national television.
Main event.
So there's your answer. You know what I mean? It's all about accommodation, and like you have to put those things together to make a product that everybody wants to watch.
Yeah, I saw that live. I was in Charlotte to see that. That pop for Nick Gage was something else.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so from what Ken was saying, they edited the sound so you couldn't hear like the pop for Nick Gage over
when
Chris
Nick
Jericho.
Gage came out. I told Dre I thought the roof was gonna come off the place. They were so ruckus for him, and then every time he picked up a weapon, they were losing their mind. It was something to behold.
That's awesome.
Any of you ever been in hardcore matches?
Yeah. We actually we were in. I'm not sure if you're familiar with oh man, who did we face the one time? It was Mecca, Magic, and Stockade. You know Stockade from H2O?
Yes, I heard of him.
Yeah. So we were in a match. It was actually our first tag team match together because we had introduced him into the Mob Squad technically by I was facing this guy named Mecha Mercenary. He's like a 500-pound monster, and at the time I was just about getting into my new character. So he at the end of the match when the referee was down, he came in, hit Mecha with a chair, helps me win the match, and like the Mob Squad is kind of formed. So we came out, and we're building up that we have like a third person coming in. You know what I mean? We already have Francesca, but we have like a third person coming in to, you know what I mean, like back us up and all that. So we come out, and I start putting this person over, and then he takes the mic and he says, we didn't get that person. So we ended up getting some scrubbed brony, but then we ended up facing Stockade, Mecca, and Magic, who's Magic is like a local legend around here, who's also taught us a lot. And that was pretty cool. We did it in a hardcore style match. He got bungee corded by his neck to the ring post.
Oh, okay.
Crutch broken over my back.
He got a crutch broken over his back. I got a chair slammed at me. I got the old New Jack, hit something onto my nuts with something there. It was it was pretty crazy.
Stop sign over the head.
Yeah.
Wow. And I'm assuming that you guys weren't really too interested after that to have another hardcore match.
Well, we especially on GTS, I've had my fair share of hardcore matches, and but like the thing is for me personally, as a wrestler, I like to wrestle. I like to put those gimmicky things in there. I like to do the fun stuff, but I also like to do the serious stuff, and I like to show people that I can be calculated in the ring, and that I could tear somebody down. But at the same time, if I need to get hardcore, then I do, because for instance, I have a scar here. You probably won't be able to see it on the thing, but it's around here somewhere, from a light tube. And I don't really do light tubes often, but of course the one time I do, I get a scar. So I can only imagine the people who do it all the time. I have so much respect for them. But it's just that sometimes, like I said earlier, you have to kind of mold styles. So I did a story with somebody named Sinister. He does death matches for a thing called POR Wrestling. They're on IWTV in West Virginia. And he came over to a show called Ring of Mayhem. And technically, I went into Ring of Mayhem doing an open challenge, saying that these deathmatch wrestlers can't keep up with the style of wrestling that I can do. And, let's see what they got. So Sinister answers the challenge. And me and him went back and forth. And at first, he out-wrestled me. So then that's when I put him through a pane of glass. And then we had to go back and forth at each other's styles to show that we can hang with each other, you know what I mean? And that, gives each other, gives everyone a little bit of a flavor of, there's the hardcore, there's the wrestling, there's Tony Chini's character. Sinister's character is he's like a demon from hell, and he has face paint. He's very cool. You should definitely check out POR Wrestling on IWTV if you're checking this out, and you'll see Sinister and all the other guys out there. JJ Allen, who's been on GCW. Who else is out there? Pool Kardashian. They're an interesting bunch out there. But anyway, sometimes deathmatch wrestling, it's just something that I would do if it really makes sense to the story and really builds towards something. I wouldn't just go in there in a random deathmatch. And I do respect the people who do that. Yeah. Week after week or month after month, but I just couldn't do that. I would need it to be something that builds to how did we get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I could definitely understand that.
That
would make sense.
Makes a lot of
sorry,
sense.
can you say?
It makes a lot of sense because you don't, if that's not what you're used to putting your body through, then, I don't think it'd be a good thing.
Yeah. So, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, well, right before we get into the, the virtual basement and the wrestling code is, going into, just matches and setting up matches. Is there a preferred style that you would like to utilize within a match? Let's say high flying or all around, or keep it strictly just based on the mat, or throwing them outside the ring. Like, what is your mindset going into matches, just setting it up and wanting to make it as entertaining as possible?
Well, that's exactly it for me, is keeping it as entertaining as possible. I mean, like, that's if it means that I have to do a little bit of high flying, then I mean, I don't do 450 splashes and stuff like that, but I can do little things that I can throw in there, and if that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. But at the same time, if it means that I should keep more of a ground base and let my opponent do the high flying, then that's what I can do. I like something that I try to pride myself in is to accommodate to whoever I'm wrestling. And to kind of see what their style is, and for me to accommodate to them based off of that, and still be able to pull off who Tony Chini is and who my character is, and still pull off those same moves that I do, those certain moves like the scissor kick or the knee drop, or those little things. I mean, that's not a Hurricane Rana or a like I said, a 450 splash, but it's still something that can entertain the crowd because they know what I do. Mm. So, I mean, really the style that I do is Tony Chini style.
Okay. What about for you, Zach?
Yeah, just being yourself in there in the ring and just wrestling whoever your opponent is.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how it is, just wrestling.
Can we like quote that somewhere? Can we make that a t-shirt?
Just wrestling. Just wrestling.
What is wrestling like, Zack? It's being in the ring and wrestling your opponent.
Throw that on a t-shirt. We got sales already.
We got to print those out. ProWrestlingTees.com. All right, so
.com/Chini.
There we go. We're gonna put in the link in the description below. We got you. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna sell them, and he's gonna make 0% of the profits, just so everybody knows.
Wow. You sell like Dre does.
What's going on? But a big part of why people got to get to see you guys is, or another reason why people get to see you guys is because you guys are a part of a next gen, or the first announced next generation wrestling game where you guys got to do the mocap for, and that is the wrestling code under the virtual basement. How did you guys get started? How did you guys, got connected with them? How did that happen?
So I actually, I knew about like their game already. Like when they started announcing things, I followed them pretty much right away, right from the beginning, and I was sharing their stuff right away because I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's awesome. Independent wrestling video game with, it's cool that they have a mix between independent stars and legends and like kind of like current stars who like just got out of WWE or just are going into WWE. And I was just already hooked. But then when Grim got added, and so Grim's obviously somebody that I work with closely, I was like, yeah, I mean, that's when the possibility opened in my mind that maybe I could be added. You never know. Mm-hmm. So I continued to do exactly what I said. I just continued to retweet their stuff all the time and share their stuff and just hoped that one day, you never know, they might hit me up. And I don't remember what the video was, but I posted a video of something that I did at Grim's on my Twitter, and then they messaged me and was like, hey, that's a cool clip, that keep it up, whatever they said. And from there I tried to strike up a conversation, which we did, and we just kind of kept talking from there. And I guess he was under the impression that Grim's show is contract based at first, and we're not under contract. We're independent wrestlers. So I told him that, and I told him, honestly, he told me something about, about Grim being in the game, and he was like, we were talking about that, and I was like, that's really cool. And I said, honestly, if you don't mind just checking out my stuff, I think that I think that I would be someone of interest as well because I have a lot of character as well. And I just put myself out there, and sometimes it's just about putting yourself out there and just having that little bit of confidence in yourself. You know what I mean? So I did that. He kept in touch with me, and we kind of just had normal conversations here and there, and then all of a sudden he hit me up with the idea of being in the game, and I signed a contract, and that was it. You know what I mean? And then with him, I mean, when we went to go do the motion capture, he said he was going to be in New Jersey and he was going to be doing stuff at Grimm's. So obviously I was going to be available, and I just kind of offered, hey, I know that there's going to be some people there. I'll take their moves for them if you want. And he was like, oh, well, if you're willing to do that, then sure. And I was like, yeah, of course, I don't mind today, because I have, confidence, especially for the people that were set up. I could definitely take their moves, especially Grimm. I know Grimm. I'm familiar with Grimm. But then we thought about it, and we were like, who's going to take my moves? Because he didn't think about it, and he was thinking Grimm could take my moves. And don't get me wrong, I've given Grimm the Death Valley driver before, which is my finisher, but I don't want to have to look like I'm struggling to pick up a 350-pound guy when I'm picking up Zack or something, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I said, I know somebody else that, that's similar to my size that I could bring, that we've worked together before. And he was like, all right, I trust you. So I brought Zack, and then we got fired. No, I'm just kidding. But
oh man.
No, I brought Zack because, like I said earlier, like his initial training was kind of just with me, like just messing around and kind of doing the stuff that we're doing for Virtual Basement now. So when that was kind of what we were doing with him taking my moves, he knows how to take my stuff. We know how to do a lot of different transitions and wrestling together. So it just kind of fit. And then we kind of just, I guess we did well enough that they wanted to have us back for Georgia now. So.
All right. So one question I had was how was the entire mocapping experience? Because I only saw like a couple clips and it looked fun, but how was the experience itself? Like from the suit to everything.
Do you want to go over the process with them, like what it was like from like the walk back and forth and then having to calibrate and everything?
Yeah, we can.
So basically we had to there was a marker that was right in the front of the ring. That was the closest to where the computer and all the sensors are and everything. And we had to get all the sensors all over our bodies and everything like that. It's not like how it used to be, like all the old pictures where it's like these little ping pong balls and stuff. It's not like that anymore. It's like these brand new sensors. They said that the same stuff that was used in the Mandalorian, the motion capture sensors that they use. They have these specific gloves that capture all of the hand movements and all the finger movements for entrances and all that kind of taunts and all that kind of stuff. And then so we have to put all that on. We have a specific shirt that we have to put on, the skin tight. So then we go inside. We start at the what's it called, the marker in the front, and you have to walk. It's 7 steps, then turn around, 7 steps back, turn around, and then you have to stand still for a good minute. And then that calibrates your character. So then they tell you to walk around, and they could see on the computer whatever you're doing in the ring, whatever you're doing outside, whatever you're doing, they see it on the computer. So then from there, in between each move or each movement, you have to go back to the front marker, stand straight to calibrate one more time, and then you go to wherever you're going to be doing your thing, whether it's a taunt or a ring movement to get on the ropes or something like that. So you have to basically calibrate between every single movement you do, though. So then when both people are in the ring, that means that you calibrate, then they calibrate, then you have to go back to back, and then you calibrate again. So it's a lot of calibration.
Somebody who's in the technology, I actually find that really cool. So were you just mocapping for your own moves, or were you doing other moves for other people as well, or what was that like?
So if you guys just saw the recent Muhammad Hassan video that just came out,
yes.
At the end, Muhammad Hassan was doing the camel clutch to Scott Steiner. That's me doing the camel clutch to him.
Well, you was returning him, wasn't you?
So it's just, like we are going to be able to do a couple of different moves for different people. For the very most part, everybody's going to get to do their own stuff, which is really, really unique about the game. But there's just certain people that they either don't want to or obviously aren't physically capable of doing their moves like that anymore. So for the most part, that's what me and Zack are there for. We're going to be, helping out with the people that kind of need those fillers and need help, filling in those other moves. I also did like a reversal into the diamond cutter, like that was like a move that we did. We did something with a power bomb. We did a Samoan drop. We did a couple different just base moves. We also did a lot of base movements like Irish whips and hitting the buckles and climbing the ropes and running and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of like basically like when you have like the base movement of the base guy, like that's gonna be a lot of Zack, because Zack got to do like the base movement of somebody, like walking around the ropes, like that was something I don't think that Dre was there for. We were doing, like what were you doing? Can you explain like the stuff that you were doing?
So I was pretty much selling in all sorts of directions on the ropes, along the top rope, along the middle rope, along the bottom rope, selling on the buckles, hitting the buckles, lots of Irish whips, up and overs. We were doing a lot. It's definitely a lot of work, and sometimes it's just all blends together because we're there for hours and we're just doing a move, then another move, then a variation of that move, and then another variation of that move, and then a reversal of that move. So
yeah, they want to have a lot of different kind of like, do you remember the TNA video game? Did you play that?
Yeah, I played that to completion a couple times.
Do you remember the mid move reversals that they had?
Yes.
So that they kind of want to do something like that and take it to the next level. So like they're doing a lot of stuff like that. We had to like he was saying, a lot of repetitive movements to where we're doing like reverse the Irish whip into this, then reverse the Irish whip into this, but now to catch, and then reverse the Irish whip and then the catch and then a flip and then whatever it is. I mean, it's obviously you'll see it when the game comes out, but a lot of like different reversals into it, like 4 or 5 different variants of reversals just out of an Irish whip. So I mean, all the things that they have planned, it's definitely, it's cool because like they know the wrestling video games, but they're not wrestlers, the developers. So that's where we kind of come in, to where we can kind of hear what their ideas are, and we can kind of tell them that, all right, well, this is how it can make sense in our world. You know what I mean? So the fact that we were kind of able to do that, I think that's why they want to have us back for more, because it kind of just, it blended really nicely to where we were able to kind of communicate with them and hear what they wanted and hear what they were saying, but we were also able to stop them and say, all right, well, that doesn't really make much sense in the wrestling world. I think that we should do it like this. You know what I mean? So it's cool though. It's a really cool process, and for somebody who's into technology, of course, you would love it. And I'm not like, it's not that I'm not into technology. I think it's cool. It's just that I don't have like the mind for it and that kind of stuff. But I think it's very, very cool to be able to work with this technology, and it's really some next level stuff here. I mean, it's awesome to kind of see your character moving and everything, and the hand movements, everything that you do. It's right there on the screen.
Maybe I need to slide into their DMs about Georgia, because I ain't far away.
Okay.
I mean, I'm really into technology, but as you said, this will probably be, it'll be a great showing for the chemistry between you two as well. If a lot of that is you, so anyone who watches this, there you go, all that chemistry for them. So both of you are in the game, and you did how many more mocaps are you? Because we know that they said the one in Atlanta and the one in Vegas.
There's gonna be a lot. I mean, there's like in that one, I mean, I want to say weekend, but it was a little bit, an extended weekend, if you will. We didn't really. I mean, they got a lot done, but a lot is a small amount when there's a huge percentage to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of work to be done still. So I think there's going to be a lot of different motion captures. There was talks about California, Las Vegas, like going into a bunch of different locations. Also talks about getting kind of like one base area to have everybody go to eventually, to make things easier. So once that happens, that would be definitely very helpful. But we told him that we're open to, to work with him, and we definitely want to do more. Obviously, it's good for us experience-wise to be able to work with all these like legends and veterans and people in the business that are on AEW, WWE television, and some great people. But it also, like I said, helps them out because they have somebody that's constantly there that has like the wrestling aspect down, that can help make things make sense in wrestling games. Because I can't tell you how many wrestling games that I've played where sometimes I'm playing the game and something just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't look right. It looks like, it's like, who thought of this? It definitely wasn't a wrestler who thought of this idea. And you know what I mean? So I'm trying to help them, make it make sense, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was something me and Dre was talking about before you guys got there, how 2K19 makes my blood itch every now and again. And I never could get 2K20 to work, so I don't know nothing about that one.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Now, there's one thing that I want to jump in here a quick second, just about the experience from the initial mocap and just how that, it started, Thursday or Friday?
It started on Thursday, I believe.
Yeah, Thursday.
No, it started. I think it started that Friday. I think they came in Thursday night.
Okay.
And it started on Friday, and then we didn't end until like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. So it was like an extended work week starting on the weekend. Now I don't want to go into like too much detail because it was a crazy time, but
I don't know how much they want us to tell and how much they want us to keep away. So that's why I'm trying to be very discreet about certain things.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just the times that were had there, just in the gym, and also going over to Crowbar's house. How was that experience for y'all? Let's talk about that real quick. How was the experience going over Crowbar's house that night?
That was very cool because I had actually seen Crowbar just a few weeks earlier. At the GCW show where he took the light tube spot. I wasn't, unfortunately, at that point. I had left before his match happened, so I didn't see the match. But before the match happened, I was there the whole day beforehand, and he needed somebody. This is a fun story with me and Crowbar. Before that dinner, he needed somebody to go out and get him something from the store, and it was very urgent. I don't want to give away what it was, but he needed something from the store, and it was very urgent. So I told him that I'd go get it, and I didn't even have my car with me. At the time, my license was still suspended and everything. But I was determined to get this thing for Crowbar. So I got a scooter, like literally a little kid scooter that was barely fit me. My foot didn't even fit on the full plate. And I went on that scooter and I went all the way to the Dollar General and got him what he needed and got back for him. And it was pretty cool. So then getting to go to his house just like a few weeks after that experience, I thought maybe that was because I had another experience with him before that. I'd actually wrestled on one of his shows in 2018. It was me and my old tag team partner did a match for his old show, Rescue Mania. And then, I didn't think I was going to see him for a while. Then I saw him at GCW. We did that. And then a few weeks later, I'm at his house having dinner. And he's such a nice guy, and it was a pleasure to get to listen to him and sit under the learning tree and hear a couple of his stories. He was showing us a lot of his matches and saying, "Oh, look what this happened, and look at his face here." And it was just funny. You know what I mean? It's cool because you sit around with the boys and you do that. And that night, Crowbar was just one of the boys.
And another thing, going back into the wrestling code without going into too much detail, because I spoke about it, but I didn't go into too much detail with it myself. But, just hearing from one person is one thing, but from both of you guys, can you explain, without going too crazy on it, the amount of detail that is going just into the gameplay itself? I mean, you explained a little bit of it as far as the Irish whip goes, but just from what you guys had to mocap and just the conversations that you had with the developers, just the amount of detail that's going into this game.
It's gonna take time, and I know that like there's a lot of fans out there, you know, that are going, oh, when is it coming out? When is this gonna happen? When is that gonna happen? Trust me, just let them take their time and let them do what they're doing, because they know what they're doing, and it's gonna come out really, really good if you just let them take their time. Because honestly, like, I mean, he was telling you before all the things he had to do, and those were just little movements of like, you know, like everything that's possible. I'm trying, like I said, not to give away too much, but I mean, there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of different things to think about that you don't even think about yourself. Like, I mean, like he wants you to do certain things that it kind of gets you to think, like, what do I do in this situation? Like, you know, like wow, where, like when I'm here, like when I'm on the apron, when I'm in the middle of the ring, when I'm on the ropes, when I'm in the corner, what do I do here? Like when I'm in a match, so when the opponent's there, you have to put yourself in that mindset, like right then and there, that you're in the match. And basically you go to a T pose right before. You got to put your arms out, and then that's kind of like how you edit it, I guess. I guess that's how they edit each movement. So you go to the T pose, and then you go into your movement, and then you end with the T pose. So if I'm doing something, when I get out of that T pose for the first second, like you got to kind of imagine like there's somebody across the ring from you, and you're about to be doing something. Because if you're doing that taunt, you want to make it look like you're in the ring. You know what I mean? If you're doing that move, you want to make it look like it's mid-match. You know what I mean? You're getting that move in. It's desperation time, you know, whatever the move is. You don't want to make it look robotic. You know what I mean? So that's our goal, is to make it look like the most real wrestling match in a video game.
So for me, as somebody who is built like a deep freezer, how the moves, because I'm a big guy, I guess you think they're trying to add all the moves, like, because I know for a wrestling game fan, I'm trying to see all the moves, all of it, so I can base my personal character off of something like that.
I mean, like, obviously, like I said before, like they want everybody to do their own motion capture and their own moves. But like I said, like as far as having like all the other additional moves, like that's where we come in, or, you know, maybe like two other people could come in and they could just bang out all these different crazy maneuvers and make sure that they have all these moves. Because if I'm not mistaken, they want to make sure that they have, you know, a very extensive move set. You know, I'll just say that at least. You know, a very extensive selection to your move set, rather. You know what I mean? They want to make sure there's a lot, and we were doing a lot of, you know, like I said, random things that, I mean, we didn't even think about. Like, I mean, a lot of crazy things that, like I said, I don't want to give away, but it's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? A lot of like OMG type moments that, like I said, we wouldn't even think about. It's funny because, like I said, like the developers, they aren't wrestlers. So, but they're wrestling fans, so they kind of tell us, yeah, this is something cool that we'd like to see. And sometimes they're telling us things, and we're like, I don't know if we can, I don't know if that's possible without breaking somebody's neck. And he's like, oh, you know, Zack will be fine.
Oh man! So, in both of you guys' opinions, and this is not even necessarily something that would be in the wrestling code, not even to be like a spoiler or anything, but you know, with you guys being fans of, you know, wrestling initially and playing the games, what are something that always brought you into wrestling games? What things that you always enjoyed as far as a feature in wrestling games?
So I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because like we said earlier, he didn't really grow up liking wrestling that much, but I would still play the wrestling games with you sometimes and like show you the matches. Like, what was something like when we were playing those wrestling games, like what was like the thing that you were like, all right, this part's fun. You know what I mean?
I would say honestly the creator characters on there, because I think like there's endless possibilities. You could create anything. Anything's possible. You know, the fans want to see everything. So you could create like Tony Chini, create anyone you want, you know, in the game. So
Yeah, and then that got so extensive throughout the years, as you know. I know that you do that, Dre. You put together those things, and I mean, I was one of those people that was like back at SmackDown. Here comes the pain. Doing like 40 paces up and 35 paces to the left and whatever it was. You know what I mean, to get the right skin tone or the right color tone for this, or putting different tattoos together to make one tattoo, whatever it was. I mean, that was definitely one of my favorite parts too, for sure. Just being able to customize things to make it better. And as it progressed throughout the years, like now, like it was so hard to make like CM Punk back in the day. Now you can literally get CM Punk's actual face and put it on the character, and like it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's incredible how far we've come.
Yeah. So another thing, and I don't want to take too much of the shine away from Ken, because he's going to be asking the questions and all that. But for you guys to be in the beginning process of this, and eventually see this thing all the way through, tell me how you guys, I mean, can't look into the future, but just thinking about the position that you guys are in right now with helping with this game. How would it make you feel thinking forward once you see the finished product and you guys in the game?
I mean, I'm gonna feel proud. I mean, I already do. I feel very proud to be a part of it, and I've always grown up obviously being a wrestling fan. And one of the things that got me even more into wrestling than the show itself was the video games. So I mean, to be a part of that now, to be able to do the actual wrestling in the video game, to put it out there like that, and to, like, at the end of the day, once I'm playing it, be able to not just look at my own character, but to look at each part of the video game and see a little bit of me or a little bit of him. That's an honor. And it's honestly, it's really, really cool that we're going to be able to do that. And I was actually talking to somebody at my job the other day about me being in the game, and he was just, it kind of like put into perspective how cool it really is. Like he was freaking out for me almost. He was like so eventually I can go to Walmart and I can get this game and you're in it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, that's how it goes. And he's like, dude, that's insane. And I'm like, I guess so, I guess it is, you know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things where, like, I'm in the moment, and it's very surreal in the moment. But I think when it actually is all said and done, and it comes out and it's right in front of me, and I'm actually playing as Tony Chini, kicking Zack Ruby's ass in the game, that's what it's all about, man.
What about you, Zach? How do you feel about it?
No, I think it's definitely going to be cool to see me in there eventually, as a DLC. That'd be cool. Or play as Tony Chini, or play as anyone on the independent scene. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be cool to see that the hard work paid off, of just doing this and traveling and
it only helps us get better by getting to have the experience to work with all these people. Like I said, I don't want to put names out there right now, because I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. But I mean, there's a lot of people that we've gone to work with already, and that we're gonna get to work with in the near future, that, I mean, I would have never thought I would be able to do anything with. So it's very incredible. It only helps our resumes, and hopefully the right people see the hard work, and the right people give us the right opportunities.
Definitely. Well, that was my little part, my couple questions. I'll leave it to Ken.
I mean, I don't know how to take, because like you said, you don't want to divulge too much, but I'll transition into something else. So I was scoping out your page, Tony, and your YouTube page, and I see that you have, like, you did a unboxing for the collector's edition of the SmackDown versus Raws. Were those some of your favorite games when you were playing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think with the exception of maybe 2 special editions, I have every single one from SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, when they first started putting them out, all the way up until now, up until 2019, because I don't think I have 2020, and I don't think I have 2018. 18 or 17, one of those. But either way, those are the only two I'm missing. I mean, I stayed sure and I collected all those special editions. I remember at the time I wasn't driving when the Undertaker edition came out, when the one, you know, that was in the casket came out. I forget which one it is right now, maybe 2K14. Anyway, I walked to GameStop from my house, which you know, I had to cross the highway and everything, like as soon as they announced it, because I thought it was going to sell out, and it did. It sold out pretty quick, like within like the maybe 2 or 3 days that it was announced, it sold out. So I walked there to make sure that I didn't lose it.
Wow.
All right.
And then even when the Hulk Hogan edition came out, that sold out in the first few hours. And I ended up ordering it online for like an extra $50, which it was already $100. And I ordered it for that, and I was kind of taking, you know, a risk, because like it's not like, I mean, the edition wasn't out yet, but like this person claimed that they were gonna have it and that they were gonna send it, and I was like, screw it, I really want it, and they did. They sent it, and I have it, and to me, it was definitely worth it, because Hulk Hogan is, I mean, he's one of those people that, like, to me, like you know, like people get upset, oh, he couldn't wrestle or he couldn't do that, but like he reached the people, like at the time that he was so famous, you know, for Hulkamania and all that, he reached the people in a way that, you know, was just so unique. And like I go back sometimes and I watch his first WWF Championship win against the Iron Sheik. And you just see the raw emotion. Like you have to go back and watch it, and just really listen to the fans and watch him, like how he reacts. And then like afterwards, you know, like all the boys come in and put the champagne all over him, and it's this big celebration, and his parents come in and they do an interview. It's just, it made him look like the world champion. And like that was just one of those huge moments that just skyrocketed such a crazy career.
Wow.
He's still a little redacted for me, but I get what you say.
I understand. And that's what, but I'm talking about, you know, like how, you know, what happened in the past, and his upbringing in wrestling before, you know, all this stuff happened. He's definitely screwed up, but you know, obviously, like before that, I'm talking about like just the way that he did, you know, like his thing with the crowd, and got them behind him. In the height of Hulkamania in the 80s, you know what I mean? That was just one of those like moments that you have to kind of watch and really experience the moment. And WWF did that really well.
I did like his Hollywood turn was in WCW was the one for me. That was when I jumped on board with him, because I don't think anybody was expecting that, but that was me.
Yeah, he reinvented himself there, and that's another thing that's, you know, that I kind of look up to of the character of Hulk Hogan. You know, like I said, take away the person of Terry Bollea, but you know, the character of Hulk Hogan did that and changed his whole character. When you thought that was the end of his career, you thought there was nothing left for him to do.
Well, you know what? Look, you know, I mean, Hogan definitely brought in fans. I could say that for me, like when I was younger, shoot, I didn't even know wrestlers from their names. I knew them from the colors they wore. So I was just like, oh, he wears red and yellow. I remember Bret Hart because he wore pink and black. I knew Undertaker because he wore black and purple. So it was just like, I can understand it. Like he stands out as a huge character. And honestly, regardless of like, you know, personal stuff, he definitely brought wrestling to a larger audience. And without him, you know what I'm saying? Like, who, you know, he made people want to be wrestlers. So, you know, it is what it is. You know?
Yeah. And like, you know, I mean, you look at it like even the sore topic of Chris Benoit, you know what I mean? Like that's a sore topic, but his career speaks for itself, but there's no way that anybody could agree with what he did as a human being. There's absolutely zero explanation or way that anybody can justify that. But his career, you know, like I said, is something that I don't think should be forgotten about. You know, as far as the impact that it was made, you can learn from what he did as far as making an impact in the career, from being a smaller guy that wasn't taken as seriously to becoming the world heavyweight champion and telling that story. You know what I mean? And there's things in wrestling, you know, and even in the entertainment industry, you know, as far as acting, music, everywhere, that there's a lot of people that made a lot of impacts and did a lot of influential things, and then they screwed up, and you know what I mean? That's the person in them, and you gotta not look past it, but you can't forget what they did for whatever that business was, though. You know what I mean? You have to learn from it and take what they did and turn it into your own positives and make sure that you don't screw up. You take that ball that they were having and that they dropped and you pick it up and you run with it. You know what I mean?
Life lessons with Tony Chini and Zack Ruby.
Well, you know what? I definitely want to say thank you guys for being on the podcast. I definitely appreciate it. The one thing that I wanted to do, you know, before we go is definitely want to make sure that, you know, we give you guys as much time, you know, to promote anything that you got going on. So, you know, let the people know, you know, what you got going on, the next shows you're going to be at.
Yeah, well, August 5th, it's going to be Lacey Day in Lacey, New Jersey, and it's going to be a free show over at Gilly Park in Lacey, New Jersey. So definitely come check that out if you're in the area. It's absolutely free. I'm going to be defending my LTW Light Heavyweight Championship against Lawrence Spiral for the very last time. This is a best 2 out of 3 falls match. We've had quite the extensive history. I won the title from him in the first place, and now we're going to put an end to this feud. I'm going to be coming out with a promo about that actually in the next few days. So if you follow me at Tony Chini 96 on Twitter and Instagram, you guys will definitely be able to see that soon. Also, if you guys check out my YouTube channel, Tony Chini, you guys will definitely be able to see the match eventually. That will also probably be airing on the LTW live YouTube channel. What else do I have? Also, UWC coming up September 4th and September 18th. I'm the current UWC United States champion, so definitely come check that out. It's going to be in Wrightstown, New Jersey. It's always a fun event when it's at UWC. It's very PG, family-oriented show, and we always have a good time. Definitely come check it out. I usually defend in the United States Championship, but also September 4th, we have the big Wrightstown Rumble, so everybody's going to be involved in that. That's something that we do every September, so that's going to be very fun. The winner usually gets a shot at the heavyweight champion, so that should be interesting. And yeah, I mean,
August 28th.
August 28th is when we're going to be in Connecticut. I was about to say the Mob Squad's going to be going. So that's me, Zach, Francesca, and Jay the Key Evans all going to Connecticut. We have our respective matches. Him and Jay are going to be in a big tag team match with 4 other tag teams, the Stepdads and the Buffet Club or something. I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of strange. There wasn't a picture of them. It was just a logo. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be in a match. Francesca's gonna be in a match. That's gonna be fun. That's in Torrington, Connecticut, for Tough and Talented Wrestling. And then we also, like I said earlier, are gonna be going to Texas in November for Gimmick Tree Wrestling. And that's going to be so much fun. It's going to be for the Bruiser Brody Cup. From the looks of it, I should be doing something pretty interesting. The Mob Squad should be definitely doing something pretty much very Tony Atlas-esque. If you guys remember the Tony Atlas incident with the Mob Squad. So you guys check that out. Just remember who's on the card and remember that the Mob Squad's always creeping up on you.
Well, if you ever come to North Carolina, you know, or South Carolina, I travel through both pretty often. I'd like to know because I'd like to see you guys in person, see a match or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've been to North Carolina with NEW Wrestling before. I don't know if they still run out there.
I haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah, I've been out there before for that, so I'm looking to go all over the place, honestly. You know, do whatever I can wherever I can. So if I'm there, you know what I mean. You guys, the best way to see it is, like I said, at Tony Chini 96 on Instagram and Twitter. You'll see wherever I'm at. I always promote my shows. If I'm gonna be there, I'm always posting it on Twitter, always retweeting it, always sharing it, even on Facebook.com/Tony Chini stub your toe. So.
Oh, you know what? Thank you guys very much. I definitely appreciate you guys coming on. I'll also having a link in the description below where to follow you guys at on there as well. So once again, I want to say thank you to Tony Chini and Zach Ruby. Definitely appreciate you guys being on, and I'm pretty sure we'll see each other again doing some things. So I'll catch you guys later. So, but everybody else, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe.
Hey, and let me before we go, I just want to say, Dre, thank you very much for the drawing. I appreciate it. The drawing that he just did for me, you guys are going to be seeing it very soon. It's phenomenal, honestly, and I can't be happier with it. If you guys are looking for any work, as far as graphic designing or artwork, anything of that sort, definitely hit up this man. I can't say enough positive things, and I appreciate the opportunity of having us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
No, but listen, one hand washes the other. I appreciate you guys as well, man. It just meeting you guys are so cool. Like, it was such just a great opportunity the whole weekend doing the initial mocap, man. But thank you guys, man. Seriously, like, if y'all ever need anything, logos, anything like that, I got y'all. Just hit me up.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right. But thank you guys once again, man. Once again, subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. And catch you guys on the next video. Later.
Later.
Arrivederci.